মানে আমরা তো বাংলায় বলছি, ও ইংলিশটাকে ধরে সে এমন ইংরেজি করেছে, কালচার অফ কম্পিউটার কি একটা করে দিচ্ছে কেন, এই এগ্রিকালচার অফ।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, শুরু করে দিন।
So, good morning, everybody at the outside on this virtual platform. This is, in fact, advantage of science and technology. At home, we are conducting many things, and also the science and science temperament, science consciousness, all sorts of programs, as well as the current science progress in the country and also in the outside the country. So BASIS is, one of the leading platform of the society who are conducting this type of program for the benefit of the students. As you know, the science, in fact, if you go through the higher secondary courses, 10+2 courses, less than 10% students are adopting science as their subject. And out of this 10% science receiving students, main course of science, that is the main group, core group of science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology, these are becoming neglected since we have now the choice-based system. In this choice, we may not utilize the mathematics as our one of the core subject, where students are taking mathematics from a long time back. It is the general instruction of or the professional problem. The teachers in the school, what I faced in previously when I was the student, see, the mathematics teacher ignore biology, or biology teacher also ignore mathematics. Say biology teacher commonly advise you would rather trace on biology, rather not taking the mathematics as the third paper. Or the mathematics teacher also advise. So this is a very wrong practice and the wrong notion. And today, biology and mathematics, they are operating hand in hand. And very interesting subject is coming up today. It is the quantum biology. And this year, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry is received on the quantum dots. And this is one of the very leading platform like BASIS, who are trying to monitor the students' temperament as well as to popularize science. Science is not unpopular, but this utility of the science in their academic course as well as in the general perspective is neglected, while the technology people are preferring, but not the science. So, although the technology is more useful, but its background is the science pillars. So if you ignore these pillars, then someday that pillar will break down and full technological backdrop becomes black. So my dear students, or those who are the participants here, my respected teachers also here on this platform. So you may, on your area, I think you may promote the students to join with the science. And not only that, whenever they are taking the mathematics as their core subject, but not the chemistry as the subsidiary one, rather computer science, statistics, even the geography, economics, they are become the subsidiary to have the more marks. So this marks earning technology or the policy is not in fact benefited to us in the long run. So we have to think very critically about the selection of the subjects and for our future planning. So today, in the first day, already first day over, yesterday, huge participations of the students as well as the science advisors, science researchers in this platform. And today our speaker is Professor Sumit Guho from Yadava University, who is my very young colleague and always very helpful to us. And he is supporting us in the many areas. He is a good scientist as well as teacher. And he obtained his PhD from Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science And you know, this is the only institute in the country that received the first Nobel Prize in Science in 1930. This is not only in India, it is the first Nobel Prize in Asia also. And it is received by Sir C.V. Raman on the discovery of its Raman effect. And he did his postdoc in Florida State University in USA, also received Alexander Humboldt, von Humboldt Fellow. You know, this is one of the very prestigious postdoctoral fellowship by Europe. And he joined in Germany and enjoyed this fellowship. And also he is the third postdoc in University of Notre Dame, awarded many other prizes like DST, ACRB, Early Career Award by Government of India, and Innovator Award for its US patent, and also Alexander Humboldt Fellow for Germany. And current research area, he is working on the different topics. One of them is the NIR fluorophores. You know, the NIR means near infrared. Even at night, when there is no light, commonly that is visible light is absent, but the infrared light or near infrared ray are there. And these fluorophores can work in this very low intensity light, low energy light. And his working area is cyanide dyes, reductions, selective targeting, and imaging of cellular organelles. And you know, the Nobel Prize received in the field of the molecular machines. And Professor Guo is working in this field, also working on the mitochondria and lysosome tracking NIR fluorophores, mitochondria, targeted chemoselective and site-selective protein labeling, self-assembling peptides at the target site to control cellular function, NIR organic biomarkers and biosensors, supramolecular machines, and so on. So many advanced area he is serving in Jadavpur. And recently, you know, just last month, he had a very nice and very effective publication in high impact journal like Journal of American Chemical Society, one of the topmost journal, top cited journal in the globe. So with these few words, I invite Professor Guo for his talk. He will deliver, I think all of you heard his lucid lecture. He is a very good teacher in my university. So with these few words, I invite Professor Guo for his deliberation.
Thank you very much, sir, for your. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, sir, for your kind introduction. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to my presentation. At first, I would like to thank the organizing committee members, BASIS, Butler College, Daton, PK College, Kontai, and EGRA SSB College, and Professor Priti Ranjan Sahu for the invitation and giving me the opportunity to interact with the students. So can you see my slides?
Not yet.
I have to at first. Yeah. So I have to share that one. Yeah. So now you can see the slides.
Yes.
Okay.
It's now already on.
Okay, thank you. So today, title of my presentation is Design of Molecular Machines for Imaging and Health. I know there is mixed audience. So before going to the complex molecular machines, let's start with a simple molecule, methane. So this is particularly for the student. So we know methane from say class 8 or class 10 standard, right? And we know the HCH angle of methane is 109 degree 28 minute, But my question is that why not 108 degree 28 minute, or why not 110 degree 28 minute, or why not 109 degree 58 minute, or why not 128 degree 47 minute? We know the angle, right? But my question is, why it is 109 degree 28 minute? Because it is not written in your book. So how you will calculate the angle of HCH, angle of methane? And it is simple geometry or mathematics, right? So you can put methane inside a cube, right? So now in the cube, in the central position, you can put carbon, and in each phase you can put the opposite corner the hydrogens. So you can construct the methane inside a cube. Now what we know, that in case of cube, all the edges are identical. You can take 1 unit or 2 unit or 3 unit or 4 unit, any unit. Now what we have to do, we have to measure h1, h2 distance. Now we know hypotenuse square equals to perpendicular square plus base square. That means poti square equals to lombo square plus bhumi square. Now you can calculate, so this one is 2 and this one is 2 and this is 90 degrees. So you can calculate h1, h2 equals to 2 root 2. Now, if you take the midpoint of h1, h2, that is r, so h1 r will be equivalent to r h2. That means 2 root 2 divided by 2. So h1 r distance will be root 2. Now, if you draw a line from R to C, so RC distance will be 1 because the edge length is 2. So RC distance will be 1. Now H1R distance is root 2, RC distance is 1, and H1RC angle is 90 degrees. Now calculate the theta. So tan theta will be H1R by RC. That means lombo by bhumi. So it will be root 2. So theta will be tan inverse root 2. So 54.736 degree. Now you have to calculate the total angle H1 C H2, right? That means 2 theta. Now if you calculate the 2 theta, you will get the HCH angle of methane, which is 109 degree 28 minutes. In another way, you can also calculate. So you can use 1 plus n cos theta equal to 0. Now SPN, in case of SP3, n is equal to 3. In case of SP2, n is equal to 2. In case of SP, n is equal to 1. Then you can calculate theta for SP3. If you put n is equal to 3, then you can calculate theta equal to 109 degree 28 minutes. So this is for student. So always ask question, right? Why we should accept that the methane, the angle of the methane is 109 degree 28 minutes. So this is the mathematical part. Why, right? Now another question is that C6H6. If I ask you how many molecules you can draw using the formula of C6H6, the very first answer will be benzene, right? But do you know 330 structures you can draw by using the molecular formula of C6H6? Almost 310 cyclic structure and 20 acyclic structures are possible, right? So you know the Kekule's dream, right? So snake biting its own tail. So that is why the cyclic form of benzene is developed. But you know acyclic structures are also possible. Almost 20 acyclic structures with the formula of C6H6 are possible. Another important part, at first, if you have the formula, you have to calculate the index hydrogen deficiency or double bond equivalent. So if you calculate the double bond equivalent of C6H6, you will find 4. Now if you have 4 double bond equivalent, that means it could be 4 double bond, 3 double bond, or 2 double bond, 1 triple bond, 4 cycle, 2 cycle, or 2 double bond. Now you can adjust and do the permutation combination to develop all the structures of C6H6. So these are the acyclic structures. So conjugated double bond, then triple bond. Then you can move the position of the triple bond to develop the other acyclic structures. So 330 structures are possible by using the molecular formula of C6H6, and it is a JACS paper. So this is particularly for the students. So learn from nature, right? When you chop onions, you get tears from your eyes. Do you know why? But if you go to the market, if tears comes from your eyes, then it will be a big problem, right? But only when you chop onions, you get tears from your eyes. Now question is, in onion, you have this type of compound, sulfur containing compound. This is a cysteine derivative, sulfur containing compound. Now, when you remove the outer shell of the onion, there is a enzyme, 2 enzymes are present. One is allinase, another is lacrimatory factor synthase. So allinase and lacrimatory factor synthase, these are volatile compounds. It will come to the onion and then it will chop this part, this SC bond, sulfur carbon bond. Then you will get a compound, sulfur containing compound. Then a famous pericyclic reaction you have learned in the undergraduate as well as postgraduate level, 1,4-hydrogen shift. And you will get this propane sulfur oxide compound by using lacrimatory factor synthase enzyme. Actually, this enzyme is responsible for this 1,4-hydrogen shift. And you will get a compound, sulfur containing compound, which is volatile. That is why you get tears from your eyes. And do you know why you get bad smell or bad odor from your mouth? So this is due to the dimerization of sulfur. You will get this dimer, sulfur containing dimer, which is further may oxidize with this compound. And these two compounds are responsible for the bad smell and bad odor for your mouth. Another important part is that, do you know, onion is good for our health? So there is another famous pericyclic reaction is happening in onion. So you can get a drug, jubilance. So this is particularly good for our health and antibacterial. So this jubilance is very important, which you can get from onions. So you have to learn from nature. There are so many things and chemistry is going in nature. Another important part is that when you bite on an apple, I don't know whether you realize or not, after a certain time, you will see that it turns brown. Do you know why it turns brown? So in case of apple have lot of polyphenolic compounds, catechin, epicatechin, flavonoid, this type of catechol containing compounds, polyphenolic compounds, right? So in presence of air, polyphenolic compounds are particularly catechol type functional group will oxidize and will give quinones type structure. That is why when you bite on an apple and put into a bowl, after a few minutes, you will see it turns brown. Then generally we hate that, particularly for me, I throw that apple, right? But why? Why it turns brown? So there is a chemistry behind that. Another important part, if you go to the market, particularly for green jackfruit, if you see the cut piece of the green jackfruit, after a certain time, it also turns brown. Actually, same chemistry is going. So polyphenolic compound is there. It is oxidized to brown color, like a quinonoid, they have a double bond or quinone structure. That is why it turns brown. And if you go to the market, you will see they put lemon on that, right? So 2OH, and if you take a look, quinone, that means 2H plus 2 hydrogen plus. So now if you put lemon, so the equilibrium will shift to the left side. That is why if you go to the market, they put onion on the cut piece of the green jackfruit. So in case of the cut piece of the potato, you will see after a certain time, you will see it turns brown. The same reason, right? Polyphenolic compound is there, it is oxidized to give brown color. So that is why, and polyphenolic compound is good for our health, it is antioxidant. That is why dark chocolate, which also contains polyphenolic compounds, it is good for our health due to the presence of antioxidant, right? Another important part, I don't know whether you realize or not, if you tear a piece of paper, you will hear a sound, right? If you tear a piece of paper, you will hear a sound. Do you know why? So actually, paper is made of a cellulose. Now, cellulose are intermolecularly hydrogen bonded. Now, what is happening? You are tearing this paper, you will hear the sound, you are actually breaking this intermolecular hydrogen bonding. And this energy is converted to sound. Now, if you soak the paper in water, and if you try to tear the paper, what will happen? It will be easy to tear the paper, as well as you will not hear any sound. Now, why? Because if you soak the paper in water, water will enter into the layer. So what will happen? It will break the intermolecular hydrogen bonding of the cellulose. Now, water will form hydrogen bonding with the cellulose. And intermolecular hydrogen between cellulose molecules are broken. That is why it is easy to tear the paper and you will not hear any sound. So another thing, so I don't know, the chal to shokto thake. It is really hard, right? But if you boil the rice, after a few minutes, you will see, say, 10 minutes, it will become soft, right? However, if you put a metallic coin and if you say boil for say 1 hour or 2 hours, after 1 hour or 2 hours, it remains hard. The question is why? Why if you boil rice or the chal, after a few minutes, it becomes soft, right? Because if you boil with water, water will enter. So rice is glucose, right? Carbohydrate molecules. Now it is intermolecularly hydrogen bonded. That is why it is hard. Now water will enter into the rice when you are boiling rice in water. So what will happen now? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding between the carbohydrate molecules are broken down. Now water will form hydrogen bonds with the carbohydrate molecule. That is why it becomes soft, right? And it is easy to take rice. So I should say, particularly for the students, try to learn nature. Try to learn nature. And there is a chemistry is there, right? Another important part is that if you take a look into the butter and coconut oil, it freezes, right, in winter. However, the cooking oil remains liquid. Now, question is why butter and coconut oil freezes in winter? However, cooking oil remains liquid because butter and coconut oil is made of short saturated fatty acid that is packed nicely. That is why it freezes in winter. But in case of cooking oil, there is a cis double bond. Again, there is a beauty. So we know that trans compound is more stable than cis, but in nature you will see cis double bond in our body as well as in cooking oil. And due to the cis conformation, that is not packed well enough. So that is why it remains liquid even in winter, right? And why trans fat is not good for our health? Because in our body we have all the cis double bond, right? We don't have any trans double bond. So that is why trans double bond or trans fat is not good for our health. And do you know where you can get trans fat? The crackers, some things, right? The biscuits which cracks, right? Or fried potato, right? So or if you go to the market and you will see the আলুর চপ যেখানে বিক্রি হচ্ছে বা বেগুনি যেখানে বিক্রি হচ্ছে, the oil, it becomes black. So that means it is not useful. So you can get trans fat, or you can, if you go to the market and if you take a lot of fried things, that means lot of trans fats you will get, right? So trans fat is not good for our health. So cis fat or cis compound is good for our health, particularly unsaturated one, right? So another important part is that uh, in a cube, it has 6 cycles, right? As I already mentioned that when you will calculate the double bond equivalent or index hydrogen deficiency, so say if index hydrogen deficiency is 2 or double bond equivalent is 2, that means 2 cycle or 2 double bond or a triple bond or a cycle and a double bond. But if you consider cube C8H8, now 6 cycles, however, the double bond equivalent is 5. So if you take a look the operation, you will see how if you break this cycle, you will get 5 operation to get a acyclic compound. So the double bond equivalent is 5, or you can make this cubane, you will see. So 5 cycle is enough. So in the last case, if you construct a line, you will get 2 cycles, right? Here 2 cycles. So if you draw 5 cycles, you will automatically get 6 cycles. So double bond equivalent is 5. So you can also calculate the double bond equivalent by the molecular formula CaHbNCOD equals to A plus 1 minus B minus C by 2. So this is the most interesting molecule. This is called interlocked molecule, a milestone discovery by Ed Wasserman, and then Sauvage got the Nobel Prize with this catenane molecules, and he has used this catenane in molecular machine. The interesting part of the catenane is that, as I already mentioned that, so if you have, say, 2 double bond equivalent is 2, then 2 cycle. But do you know, you can use 15 or 1,000 cycles and the double bond equivalent will be 1. This is the exceptional of the double bond equivalent. So if you calculate the double bond equivalent of this catenane system, you will find for the cycles, you have to consider 1, and for double bond, you have to consider 1. So for the first compound, 2 catenane, so the double bond equivalent will be, for the cycle will be 1, and there are 2 double bond carbonyl compounds, so that means 3. Total double bond equivalent will be 3. And for 3 catenanes, for the 3 cycles, double bond equivalent will be 1. And for 2 double bondo, that means 3. This is 4 catenane. For 4 cycles, double bond equivalent will be 1. And for 2 double bondo, it will be again 3. And these are the building blocks for the development of molecular machines. And in 2016, Professor Jean-Pierre Sauvage got the Nobel Prize for these catenane molecules. And before going to artificial molecular machine, let's start with the biological molecular machine. So what is molecular machine? A molecular machine is an assemblage of the parts that produce quasi-mechanical movement in response to specific external stimuli. Many biological molecules can perform useful work. So this is membrane fusion machinery. So membrane fusion is a fundamental process in life and plays a key role in exocytosis, endocytosis, intercellular trafficking, envelope virus infection, fertilization, and so on. However, spontaneous membrane fusion cannot be achieved due to 2 reasons. Electrostatic and steric crowding between the 2 membrane surfaces is the primary reason. When 2 bilayers are very close with respect to each other, almost 2 nanometer apart, a much stronger barrier is encountered due to the layer of water molecules, which are structurally aligned between the 2 membrane surfaces. So you have to break the structure of water molecules to get membrane fusion. In biology, these energy barriers are believed to be overcome in the presence of a snare protein. SNAP means soluble N-ethyl maleimide sensitive factor attachment protein receptor. snare link the two membranes and drag them together into close proximity, and two separate lipid membranes can form a single continuous bilayer. So in 2013, Professor James C. Rothman, Randy Schechtman, and Thomas Sudolph got the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine for their discoveries of machinery regulating vesicle traffic, a major transport system in our body. And Professor James C. Rothman, he is the father of snare hypothesis. So this is most interesting. আমি একটু বাংলায় বলি, যখন আমাদের মশা কামড়ায় আমাদের ব্রেন ইনস্ট্রাকশন দেয় সঙ্গে সঙ্গে আরেকটা হাত চলে গেল মশাটাকে মারার জন্য। আমরা যখন ঘুমিয়েও থাকি আমরা দেখব কোথাও কেটে গেল বা কোথায় মশা কামড়ালে আমাদের ব্রেন কিন্তু সঙ্গে সঙ্গে সিগন্যাল হাতকে পাঠায়, হাত সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চলে যায়। তাহলে এটা হচ্ছে লেস দ্যান 1 মিলিসেকেন্ড বা লেস দ্যান 100 মিলিসেকেন্ড। এটা যদি ধরো আমাকে আজকে মশা কামড়ালো, কালকে আমি যদি টের পেতাম, বা আজকে আমার একটা জায়গায় কেটে গেল, কালকে যদি আমি টের পেতাম, এটা কিন্তু হচ্ছে না। সুতরাং কি হচ্ছে, ওখান থেকে কামড়াচ্ছে মশাটা পায়ে বা কামড়াচ্ছে মশাটা হাতে, ব্রেন আমাকে ইনস্ট্রাকশন দিচ্ছে হাতকে সঙ্গে সঙ্গেই যে মশা বসেছে বা কেটে গেছে, ওখানটায় যাও, কিছু একটা হয়েছে, ব্যথা করছে তোমার, ঠিক আছে। সুতরাং এটার জন্য কে দায়ী? এটার জন্য অনেক আয়ন চ্যানেল দায়ী, এটার জন্য একটা প্রোটিন দায়ী কল্ড স্ন্যার প্রোটিন। সো লট অফ নিউরোনাল সেলস, আমরা দেখবো যে নিউরোনাল সেল প্রচুর আছে আমাদের ব্রেনে। সো লট অফ নিউরোনাল সেলস আর প্রেজেন্ট ইন আওয়ার ব্রেন। সো ক্যান ইউ সি দ্য ভিডিও? Yeah, can you see the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So lot of neuronal cells are present in our brain. So when action potential arrive at the end nerve terminus, voltage gated calcium channels are open. Here you can see snare protein mediated membrane fusion, then neurotransmitter releases. Now this is cis snare complexes. Cis snare complexes are subsequently disassembled for reactivation, and this reaction is catalyzed by the ATPase NSF with the help of alpha snap as a cofactor. And this is going through a cyclic manner where snare protein acts as a catalyst. So এইখানে আমরা দেখবো যে এই যে অনেকগুলো কেমিস্ট্রি আর বায়োলজি রিলেটেড, আয়ন চ্যানেল ওপেন হবে, স্ন্যার প্রোটিন ইনস্ট্রাকশন দিচ্ছে, নিউরোট্রান্সমিটার রিলিজ হচ্ছে, আমাদের ব্রেনে যাচ্ছে, ব্রেন তখন ইনস্ট্রাকশন দিচ্ছে। সুতরাং এগুলো সব কেমিস্ট্রি অ্যান্ড বায়োলজি খুব রিলেটেড আর কি, ঠিক আছে। So development of a simpler artificial system is one of the most promising approaches which mimic the natural system and makes possible to study the influence of each segment on the fusion pathway. So you can modify the recognition motif, you can modify the linker domain, you can modify the transmembrane domain. You can use simple undergraduate or postgraduate chemistry, so you can use hydrogen bonding at the water lipid interfacial region, like cyanuric acid and melalin type hydrogen bonding, to develop a artificial membrane fusion machinery. You can use covalent modification at the water lipid interfacial region. You can use boronic acid and cis diol to develop covalent modification at the water lipid interfacial region. You can design DNA double helix to develop the artificial membrane fusion machinery. You can design peptide nucleic acid to develop membrane fusion machinery. Now, what is the real application of this membrane fusion, artificial membrane fusion machinery in drug delivery? So you can put a molecule in your target cell. Then you can design a liposome with encapsulated with the drug molecules with complementary strand, right? Now these two molecules will recognize, then liposome will be very close with respect to the targeted cell, so that is known as tight docking, then hemifusion, then full membrane fusion, and then what will happen? Your drug will deliver. So synthetic molecular machine as a drug delivery or gene delivery vehicle in which cargo drugs filled within a vesicle is delivered selectively to a target cell through artificial membrane fusion. Another important biological molecular machine is RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase is an enzyme which can synthesize RNA using DNA as a template. So in 2006, Professor Roger D. Kornberg got the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for creating detailed molecular images of RNA polymerase during various stages of the transcription process. So this is RNA polymerase. This is video. This is an unwinding DNA double helix and uses one strand as a template to create the single-stranded messenger RNA or mRNA. So you can see at first it is unwinding the DNA double helix, then it is synthesizing RNA, right? Particularly mRNA. Another important biological molecular machine is kinesin worker. So kinesin and dyneins are motor proteins, right? So they transport cargoes around cells using the chemical energy stored in ATP, the chemical fuel of biological system, and it is going in our body. So like kinesin and dynein actually working along the microtubule using the chemical energy stored in ATP, the chemical fuel of biological system. It is going in our body every day, right? Another important biological molecular machine is F1 F0 ATP synthase. It has a two rotary motor on a common axis, right? It is particularly present in our inner mitochondrial membrane and it is producing ATP. ATP কেন দরকার? আমাদের এনার্জির জন্য এটিপিটা দরকার, যেটা কিনা মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়াতে তৈরি হয়। মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়াকে পাওয়ার হাউস বলে, তাই তো, কোষের শক্তিঘর। এন্ড তোমরা কি জানো এই যে এটা ম্যানস মেড মোটর, সেম টেকনোলজি ইজ অ্যাপ্লাইং হিয়ার, টু রোটারি মোটর অন এ কমন অ্যাক্সিস. So another biologically important molecular machine is ribosome. Ribosomes are actually macromolecular machines found inside the cells that synthesize proteins using mRNA as a template, right? It is actually macromolecular machine, and this is actually tRNA attached with the amino acids, which brings the amino acid. Now,
long question. No, slow, no.
so
Too slow.
now this is your mRNA. So in mRNA, pardon, did you ask anything? Hello. Okay, so it is forming the hydrogen bond, and what is happening, this protein chain is growing along this direction. So this ribosome is actually macromolecular machine which is found inside our cell, which is responsible for the synthesis of protein. আমরা যে প্রোটিন খাই, ঠিক আছে, আমাদের শরীরেও প্রোটিন তৈরি হয়, সেই প্রোটিনটা তৈরি হয় কোথায়, যে মানে কে রেসপন্সিবল, এই রাইবোসোম, ঠিক আছে, যেখানে mRNA আছে, যেটা mRNA হচ্ছে একটা টেমপ্লেট হিসাবে ইউজ হয়, সেই mRNAটাই রেসপন্সিবল হচ্ছে তোমার এই প্রোটিনটাকে সিনথেসিস করতে আমাদের বডিতে, তাই তো? So now in 1974, Albert Claude, Christian Didier, and Emile Pallade were awarded Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for the discovery of ribosome, right? And you know the Venkataraman Ramakrishnan, right? So in 2009, Professor Venkataraman Ramakrishnan, Thomas A. Zaitz, and Ada E. Yunath got the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for studies of the structure and function of ribosome. And Ada Yunath, couple of years back, she was in India actually, in Kolkata particularly. So now, in case of artificial molecular machine, how you will assemble the parts of molecular machine. So you can use covalent modification, you can use non-covalent modification, particularly click chemistry. So in the last year, you know, Nobel Prize is for the click chemistry. You can use copper catalyzed click chemistry, copper free click chemistry, right? So development of simpler artificial molecular machine which mimic the complex biological machine and perform useful work is challenging. It is critical to understand and eventually control the motion of the components of such machinery. It is challenging to control molecular motion and convert it into mechanical work that may be achieved by using chemical fuels such as pH, redox, light, right? So it is important to mimic translation where protein synthesis is accomplished on the mRNA template in the ribosome, a biological molecular machine, right? So in 2016, Professor John Pierre Sauvage, Sir Fraser Stoddart, and Ben Feringa got the Nobel Prize in chemistry for the design and synthesis of molecular machines. And Professor Fraser Stoddart, he is the father of rotaxanes, right? So you can see this is the catenane molecule and this is the rotaxane molecules. This is particularly a pH sensitive rotaxane molecules. So rotaxane molecule is developed by Sir Fraser Stoddart. This is molecular elevator developed by Fraser Stoddart. This is computer chip. This is Ben Feringa's molecular motor. And this is the nano car, interesting nano car. And if you find in the Google or if you YouTube, you will see the race of the nano cars, right? In the future, they may give us medical robotic. Who knows where else they will take us? So now, in case of catenanes and rotaxanes, you will see these are the mechanically interlocked molecules, right? So since there is no covalent bond between the components of catenanes and rotaxanes, the linkage has been called mechanical bond. Catenane is derived from the Latin word catena, means chain. And rotaxane, it is also derived from the Latin word rota means wheels and axis means axle. Now, catenanes and rotaxanes you can see in everyday life. You can see chain, even ornaments, right? Wristlet, earrings. In fact, you can see in baby's toys. So this baby is holding rotaxane in his or her hand. And even you can see rotaxanes in bird toys. Catenanes you can also see in the road, right? So this is a famous car, Audi car. So you can see this catenanes, right? So actually it is four catenanes. And the famous symbol, this is the Olympic symbol, which is actually 5 catenanes. So catenanes and rotaxanes are present everywhere. Interestingly, catenanes, rotaxanes, and knots are present in biology also. So particularly in protein structure, virus structure, in DNA structure, you can see this type of special knot. These are the DNA-based catenanes. And this is a interesting peptide, which is known as lysopeptide, found in the bacteria, microcin J25. This is actually rotaxanes. So catenanes and rotaxanes and knots you can find also in biology. So how you can use catenane to use particularly rotation of a ring inside another ring. You can use simple undergraduate chemistry. So we know that copper 1 prefers tetra-coordinated tetrahedral geometry, right? And copper 2 prefers penta-coordinated or hexa-coordinated geometry. So now what they use, they design a catenane molecule. Now in one cycle, they have incorporated tar-pyridyl group, that means tridentate ligand. And the same macrocycle, they have incorporated 110 phenanthroline. This is bidentate ligand. In another cycle, they have incorporated only one bidentate ligand, that is 110 phenanthroline. Now, when it is copper 1 plus, which prefers tetra-coordinated tetrahedral geometry, then what will happen? It will bind with the 110 phenanthroline group, and it will prefer tetra-coordinated tetrahedral geometry. Now, if you oxidize copper 1 to copper 2 by using electrochemistry, you can do, or using suitable oxidizing agent, what will happen? Copper 2 prefers penta-coordinated or hexa-coordinated geometry. So immediately what will happen? This tarpyridyl part of this ring will rotate, and it will come on this side, right? Now it will stabilize through tarpyridyl from one ring, one macrocycle, and 110 phenanthroline from other macrocycle. Again, if you reduce copper 2 plus to, it will go to the copper 1 plus, then again the 110 phenanthroline part will be here. So rotation of a ring inside another ring. So this is the development of molecular motion, or you can see mechanical motion, right? So, but simple undergraduate chemistry, redox chemistry, you can use to develop this type of molecular machine. Another important molecular machine you can develop by using rotaxane or pseudo-rotaxane, molecular muscle, artificial molecular muscle. So you know that in our muscle we have actin and myosin filament, right? And in presence of ATP and calcium 2 plus, it can contract and extension, you can see, of the muscle, right? So same thing you can use by using rotaxane, and actually it is using in the medical science, so pseudo-rotaxane, to develop this type of contraction and extraction. So this is the thing. So one thing what can happen, so in case of catenane, one cycle can rotate inside another cycle. So in case of rotaxane, so one ring can rotate along the axle. Another thing, what can happen? So shuttling, molecular shuttle. So from one ring, from one station, it can go to the other station. And this is one type of molecular motion, particularly contraction and extension, like a molecular muscle. So you can develop this type of motion by using this type of catenanes and rotaxanes, so which can act as a molecular machines. So this is the development by Sir Fraser Stoddart. So what is happening here? This is simple undergraduate chemistry, you can see. So here benzidine, and here biphenyl type system. Between biphenyl and benzidine, we know nitrogen is donating capability is more than oxygen. So now this benzidine is more electron rich compared to this biphenyl system, right? So that is why, say, benzidine is station 1 and this biphenyl, red color biphenyl, is station 2. Now your blue box, which is tetracationic, it is sitting on top of the benzidine, right? Now, in presence of acid, what will happen? This nitrogen will be protonated, it will be cationic. Due to electrostatic repulsion, what will happen? This blue box, which is on the station 1, will move to station 2, right? Due to electrostatic repulsion. Now, if you add base, what will happen? Base will deprotonate this NH proton, and what will happen? Again, this blue box will move from station 2 to station 1. So you can get like a cable car, right? Ropeway, আমরা যে রোপওয়েতে চড়ি সেই কেবল কারের মতো এই মুভ করতে পারে, ঠিক আছে? এবং এটা আমাদের ফুয়েল লাগে, যেমন কেবল কারে ধরো ইলেকট্রিসিটি লাগে, এখানে হচ্ছে ফুয়েলটা কে পিএইচ, অর্থাৎ অ্যাসিড আর বেস। So this is actually the small video of this type of cable car or molecular shuttle. So in presence of light, you can develop this type of shuttle, or in presence of pH, particularly acid or base, you can develop this type of molecular shuttle. So when I started my independent research career as a synthetic organic chemist, the very first question came into my mind: why does the cell have so many organelles like nucleus, cytoplasm, ribosome, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, and so on. Then we realize that each individual organelle is actually a small reaction vessel. For example, in endoplasmic reticulum, small amino acid building blocks are being stitched to form proteins. In lysosome, the protein chains are broken down into small amino acids. Nucleic acids are broken down into small monomers. In Golgi apparatus, proteins are glycosylated. In peroxisomes, long lipid chains are peroxidized into small lipid chains. So among the various cellular organelles, mitochondria are an important target for all cancer cells. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of cells and control cellular function and fate. Mitochondria play a key role in programmed cell death, such as apoptosis. Mitochondrial dysfunction are associated with a range of neurodegenerative and cardiovascular disorder like Alzheimer, Parkinson, obesity, diabetes, and so on. So mitochondria targeting, imaging, and its dysfunction are the key steps for the design of drug molecules. So mitochondria, this is typical mitochondrion. It has two membranes, outer membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane, matrix, cristae, and the one important part is the DNA. Mitochondria has its inherent DNA, right? Mitochondria ওদের নিজস্ব ডিএনএ আছে। আমাদের যেমন নিউক্লিয়াসে ডিএনএ থাকে তেমনি মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়াতেও ডিএনএ থাকে। মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়া ডিএনএটা কোথা থেকে আসে জানো? মায়ের থেকে। নিউক্লিয়াসে যে ডিএনএটা থাকে সেটা হচ্ছে বাবা বা মায়ের থেকে আসে, কিন্তু মাইটোকন্ড্রিয়ার ডিএনএটা আসে হচ্ছে তার মায়ের থেকে, একদম ইট ইজ এক্সক্লুসিভ। Another important part, it is a double layer membrane and inner mitochondrial membrane potential is highly negative. For normal cell, it is minus 150 to minus 180 millivolt, and for cancerous cell, it is minus 220 millivolt, right? And which is really unique, which offers a design opportunity to target mitochondria. Now, why inner mitochondrial membrane potential is highly negative? It is due to the electron transport chain as well as the negatively charged lipid called cardiolipid. So now question is how you can target mitochondria. You can design suitable ligand to target mitochondria. You can design lipophilic cationic triphenyl phosphonium group to target mitochondria. Particularly, it is targeting inner mitochondrial membrane potential. Our group is particularly interested for the development of the near-infrared chromophore. Why we are interested about near-infrared chromophore? Because in our body, আমাদের শরীরে কি কি আছে? Peptide, protein, nucleic acid. We have peptide, protein, nucleic acid, right? So this type of molecule absorbs in the UV region. We have hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, melanin. This type of molecule absorbs in the visible region. We have water molecules in our body. Water absorbs in the IR region. So in our body, we don't have any chromophore that absorbs in the near-infrared region. So in contrast to UV and visible light, near-infrared light excitation has certain benefits. For example, you can get more tissue penetration, least amount of photobleaching. You can get spatiotemporal resolution, high sensitivity at the molecular level, which offers a unique device to study live cell imaging. So our group is interested about the development of squarene-based near-infrared chromophores. Why? Because so far, squarene dye has been overlooked to target mitochondria. And this is the crystal structure, single crystal X-ray structures of these squarene dyes linked with the lipophilic cationic triphenyl phosphonium group. Here we hypothesize that the The electron deficient squarene chromophore is vulnerable towards the nucleophilic attack by the exposed cysteine of mitochondrial proteins and mitochondrial glutathione. So now how you will solve this problem? So you can solve this problem by designing a rotaxane. So before going to the rotaxane design, we have performed the confocal laser scanning microscopic assay. We have found that the bleaching of the dye inside the mitochondria, this is red weak spot, but this is a commercially available dye, mitotacar green, which shows intense signal inside the mitochondria, and our dye shows weak signal, so which indicates the bleaching of the dye inside the mitochondria. So to confirm it, we have performed the fluorescence assay by using glutathione. Mitochondrial glutathione is a tripeptide, small tripeptide, and 2-mercaptan ethanol at mitochondrial pH 8. And we observe bleaching of the dye using fluorescence titration. We have also performed molecular docking by using mitochondrial protein ATPase synthase, and we have seen that cysteine residue is very close to the squarene dye, right? Now, how you will solve this problem? You can solve this problem by using rotaxane design. So how you can synthesize rotaxane? So you can use this strategy A. This is the clipping method, strategy A. This strategy B. So it is actually threading. Threading মানে সূচে সুতো ভরা, তাকে থ্রেডিং বলে। সূচে সুতে ভরা, তারপরে সুতোটা যাতে না বেরিয়ে আসে তার জন্য কি দেই আমরা? গিট। সো থ্রেডিং দেন স্টপারিং, রাইট? সো সূচে সুতো ভরা দেন গিট, তার থেকে কিন্তু নোবেল প্রাইজ। And then C is slipping method. We are particularly interested about template directed clipping. So here you can see, so this is rotaxane clipping method. So clipping method, in both the sides you can form the macrocycle. We are particularly interested for this clipping method. And we have synthesized this rotaxane molecule. Here we hypothesize that the macrocycle provides a shelter and protect the chromophore from nucleophilic attack. And we are lucky to have the crystal structures of these molecules, and this is the 3D crystal structures. You can see nice interlocked molecules of these rotaxanes, and it is stabilized through hydrogen bonding, as well as donor acceptor donor type interaction, and donor to acceptor distance is around 3.7 angstrom. So this is stable molecule, this rotaxane molecules. And we have performed the fluorescence assay as well as UV visible, and we have seen that this molecule is stable in presence of glutathione, as well as this is non-cytotoxic in presence of both cancerous as well as non-cancerous cells. So we have performed confocal laser scanning microscopic assay using epithelioid cervix carcinoma HeLa cell line, and you have seen that we have observed nice colocalization inside the mitochondria. So here, lipophilic cationic triphenyl phosphonium group is required to target mitochondria. Squarene dye is required to image the mitochondria in the near infrared region, and macrocycle provides the shelter and protect the chromophore from nucleophilic attack. So now, how you will target cancer? Cancer is a worldwide problem. Cancer is the foremost threat for human life with higher mortality rate and comorbidity. So this is the mortality chart. So in 2020, almost 12 million people died due to cancer, which is almost twice with respect to 1990, whereas TB, malaria, and HIV remains almost constant. So this is the ICMR report. So it is projected that in 2025, about 30 million, right? 30 million Indians may suffer from cancer. So this is really a life-threatening, right? Now, how you will target cancer? If you want to target cancer, you have to understand biology and chemistry of the tumor site. So what is the biology of the tumor site? endothelial gap in the tumor site is much more with respect to normal cell. It is known as leaky vasculature. It enhances the permeability of the nanodrugs. And due to poor lymphatic drainage, it retains there. It is known as enhanced permeability and retention effect, EPR effect, a milestone discovery by Maeda in 1986. It is also known as passive targeting to tumor. Another is active targeting to tumor. You have to understand chemistry of the tumor site. So what is the chemistry of the tumor site? Certain receptors are overexpressed at the tumor site. So you can design suitable ligand to target those receptors. So say alpha B beta 3 integrin, epidermal growth factor receptor, folate receptor, this type of receptors are overexpressed at the tumor site. So you can design suitable ligand to target receptor. So you can design RGD peptide to target alpha B beta 3 integrin. You can design folate derivative to target folate receptor. You can design suitable peptide to target epidermal growth factor receptor. So what we did, we have constructed a rotaxane molecules, and here we have incorporated RGD peptide in the macrocycles, right? And we have incorporated morpholin in the axis. So RGD peptide will target cancer cell surface overexpressed receptor alpha V beta 3 integrin. Then you will see membrane, cell membrane penetration, and then it will accumulate inside the lysosome because you have the morpholin functionality. So we have particularly used click chemistry here. So you know, in 2022, Professor Caroline Bartozzi, Morten Meldal, and Sharpless got the Nobel Prize in chemistry for click chemistry and bioorthogonal chemistry, right? And Sharpless and Meldal actually mainly developed the click chemistry, and Bartozzi, she developed the bioorthogonal click chemistry. And we have used their concept to construct these rotaxane molecules. So we have particularly used this terminal alkyne in the macrocycle and azide to form this triazole type molecule. So we have used click chemistry, but we have used solid phase method, right? And we have also synthesized a molecule lacking the morpholin targeting, my lysosome targeting morpholin.
Professor Guho.
Just do it. Do it. So I'll skip this. And so another important part is that, so we have developed some targeted multimodal imaging probes. So we know that single imaging method, there is some failure of the single imaging method. That is why you can develop multimodal imaging probe here. So particularly PET CT and PET MRI are already in the use, but we have used here our near infrared dyes with magnetic nanoparticles. So I'll skip these slides and I'll come into the conclusion part. So we have developed synthetic molecular machines and play an important role in chemistry and biology. And integration of near infrared fluorescent probe with MRI agent to harvest complementary imaging information is really important. So this is my small group, and Robbie is the architect of this project. And I must acknowledge DST-ACRB for the financial support and Jadavpur University. And this particularly for the students ask good questions. So this is Isidar Isaac Robbie, a Nobel laureate in physics in 1944 for NMR. So I quote, "My mother made me a scientist without ever intending to. Every other Jewish mother in Brooklyn would ask her child after school, 'So did you learn anything today?' But not my mother, Izzy. She would say, 'Did you ask a good question today?' That difference, asking good questions, made me become a scientist." So this is small clippings from the movie Three Idiot. I think you have observed. So what is a machine, right? So from Three Idiot movie, right?
Definition लगता है कि क्या होगा?
সাউন্ডটা শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
এই যে স্যার দেখুন এই যে খুলে গেল।
What is the machine definition? He is asking
হয়ে
definition.
যাবে আর এটা টান দিলে ফেসে খুলে যাবে, যে তৈরি দিয়ে বের করা যায় মাত্র।
He did not actually memorize, and he is not happy. Now he memorized.
এখানে স্যার একটা কথা ঠিক মেমোরাইজকে অ্যাভয়েড করছে।
So he actually memorized, and teacher is happy, right? So you also need to understand and explain the subject. If you cannot explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Albert Einstein. The important thing is to never stop questioning. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Be a good observer and listener. Be a good citizen. And thank you very much for your kind attention. And if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, I must thank the organizing committee member, Basis and Butter College, Daton, PK College, Kantai, Egra SSB College, Professor Chittaranjan Sinha and Professor Kritiranjan Sahu for the invitation and giving me the opportunity to interact with the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Guo, for very interesting talk. And unfortunately, the participants are very few in terms of the students. Senior people are here.
Oh,
And secondly, the Three Idiots movie, মানে প্রশ্ন মুখস্থ না করলে যাদবপুরে চান্স পাওয়া যাবে না, আর পরীক্ষায় পাসও হবে না, সবই ঠিক কথা। ভেরি ইন্টারেস্টিং টক। আমার প্রফেসর গুহ বিভিন্ন দিকে যা সায়েন্স, ফিউশন অফ সায়েন্স, ডিফারেন্ট units of science, chemistry, biology, physics, and so on. ফলে একটা ইন্টারেস্টিং টক। আমার মনে হয় বেসিসের এটা তো রেকর্ড থাকবে এবং তারা তাদের ওয়েবসাইটেও নিশ্চয়ই তুলবেন। এবং ছাত্রছাত্রী তো কমই, যদি কেউ জিজ্ঞেস করেন খুব ভালো হয়। ছাত্রছাত্রী বা আমাদের সিনিয়র যারা আছেন এখানে যদি জিজ্ঞেস করেন স্যারকে, বা আগামী দিনে নিশ্চয়ই বেসিসের সঙ্গে প্রফেসর গুহ থাকবেন বা আপনারা তাকে আর যুক্ত রাখবেন নানান কাজে। তা আপনারা যদি কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করেন তাহলে প্রফেসর গুহ খুশি হবেন উত্তর দিতে। বলুন, কারণ আমরা পিছিয়ে আছি, প্রায় 25 মিনিট পিছিয়ে আছি আমাদের প্রোগ্রাম শুরু করতে। আরো দুটো মিনিং কমপ্লিট সাইলেন্সের, এক হয়তো দেখেছি, আর না হলে ওই শুধুমাত্র আমার ডিভাইসটা অন করে আছি। যা হোক, ঠিক আছে। থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার।
Thank you
for
very much.
sharing your knowledge and wisdom to our audience. And now Professor Sau, Kriti Babu.
Yes, sir.
Now your platform, please.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me chance to join as well as to preside this session.
ইন্টারেস্টিং টপিকস। হ্যাঁ, বেশ তো ভালোই লাগলো, বললেন তো বেশ সুন্দর করে। আমাদের যেটা সমস্যা এমনি ফোনেও কথা হয়েছিল, ছাত্রদের পাওয়া যাচ্ছে খুবই কম আর কি।
সেই মোড়ের ঠিক আগে আগে বাম দিকে একটা ঢালাই গলি, দুটো বাড়ির মাঝখান দিয়ে ঢুকে গেছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আমাদের দ্বিতীয় সেশন শুরু হচ্ছে, সেখানে ছাত্ররা তাদের প্রেজেন্টেশন দেবে এবং এই সেশনটা যিনি পরিচালনা করবেন ডক্টর সোমনাথ দে, পিংলা কলেজ, পশ্চিম মেদিনীপুর। আমি বলবো সোমনাথ প্রফেসর ডক্টর দে কে তার সেশনটা শুরু করার জন্য। সোমনাথ,
হ্যাঁ, আমার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শোনা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা, আগের যে স্যার ছিলেন উনি বোধহয় ওনার স্ক্রিন শেয়ারটা স্টপ করেননি।
ও,
প্রফেসর গুহ স্ক্রিন শেয়ারটা
আমি
স্টপ
করে দিচ্ছি থ্যাংক ইউ। এখন স্টপ করে দিচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ। আচ্ছা, ওকে, ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য সেকেন্ড সেশন। আমি প্রথম থেকেই ছিলাম। প্রফেসর সমিত গুহ খুব সুন্দর একটা টক দিলেন। তো আমি পিংলা কলেজে ফিজিক্স ডিপার্টমেন্টের অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট প্রফেসর। তো স্যার, আপনার টকটা আমার শুনতে খুবই ভালো লাগলো। কিছু কিছু জায়গা হয়তো উপলব্ধি করেছি, কিন্তু যেহেতু এটা আমার সাবজেক্ট না, ঠিক আছে, সো আমি অতটা হয়তো আপনার তত্ত্বের গভীরে ঢুকতে পারিনি। কিন্তু আপনার রিসার্চ ওয়ার্ক বেশ ভালো, এবং আপনি বিভিন্ন জায়গাগুলো বললেন, কিছু কিছু ন্যানো পার্টিকেলস যেগুলো আসছে সেই জায়গাগুলো হয়তো বুঝতে পেরেছি, ঠিক আছে। সো অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার রিসার্চ টপিকটাও একটু আলাদা। আমার হচ্ছে টুয়ার্ডস থিওরিটিক্যাল হাই এনার্জি ফিজিক্স রিসার্চ টপিক, সেই জন্য অতটাও, কিন্তু আপনার টকটা খুবই ভালো ছিল। আমি আশা করছিলাম এখান থেকে অনেক স্টুডেন্টস আছে যারা এই ন্যানো পার্টিকেলস বা মেটেরিয়াল সায়েন্সে আছে, কারণ পরের সেশনে আমি যে 4টে অ্যাবস্ট্রাক্ট আছে দেখছি, এগুলো মোস্টলি ন্যানো সায়েন্স রিলেটেড বা মেটেরিয়াল সায়েন্স রিলেটেড। সো ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য সেকেন্ড সেশন of this basis webinar series 2023. তাহলে আমার এই সেশনে there are 4 presentations here. So each presentation have 20 minutes, 15 minutes your talk and 5 minutes discussion session. তো প্রথমে আমি এখানে বলবো অর্ণব পাল রিপ্রেজেন্ট করবে। The topic of his representation is contact electrification capability of amino acid. Arnob Pal from National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. Arnob Pal, please. অর্ণব পাল, তুমি শুনতে পাচ্ছ? তুমি তোমার প্রেজেন্টেশন এবার শুরু করতে পারো।
সোমনাথ,
হ্যাঁ,
তুমি ওই তারপরে যে আছে তাকে একটু জয়েন করে নাও, ওই আমাদের
আচ্ছা,
নবকুমার আর কি।
ওকে ওকে। তাহলে নেক্সট অর্ণব পাল তাহলে কোনো কারণে হয়তো নেই এই মুহূর্তে। তাহলে নেক্সট প্রেজেন্টেশন নবকুমার রানা, and
Yes,
topic of,
I am present.
okay, thank you. And topic of his presentation is modification of hydrophobic self-assemblement monolayers with Al23 nanoparticle concentration over large area perovskite solar cell. Okay, অনেক বড় topic. Anyway, so Navakumar, please start your presentation.
So, hello, my screen visible?
Hello. Yes, it is now.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I am Mr. Navakumar Rana, and I'm doing the senior research fellow from Department of Physics, and also I am working at the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. Now, today we'll discuss about the modification of hydrophobic monolayer and with the output, a small also as well as the large area, and we use here we discussed about some of the deposition technique of the thin film, and mainly we are using a spin coating technique for the deposition of the thin film, and also thermal evaporation technique. And in recent we are using a electron beam evaporation technique also using And this is the spin coating technique we are using here in our lab for the deposition of the perovskite thin film. And this is our perovskite film, and this is thermal evaporation technique, and this is
Navakumar,
different
you are
type of
not
architecture
audible
of the.
sometimes. So,
Hello,
is it your connectivity problem or microphone problem?
hello.
হ্যাঁ, তোমাকে মাঝে মাঝে ঠিকমতো শোনা যাচ্ছে না। তো
Now I am audible.
now you are audible. So either you have connectivity issue, or put your microphone, mouthpiece near to your mouth. That will be better.
Yes. Now I am audible. Clear. Hello.
Now you are audible clearly.
Okay. Now we are using the different type of architecture in our lab, and especially we are using regular architecture, NIP architecture, and also as well as inverted architecture. Today we'll discuss about the inverted architecture, and approximately we have reached 17% efficiency on this regular architecture, that is NIP architecture. Now, in the recent work we have fabricated the inverted cell architecture, where we have used approximately achieved 14% efficiency on this device architecture. And this is the energy band diagram of this particular device architecture. And before, when we start our device fabrication, we are using glass upto, compact TiO2 mesoporous based devices, also mixed cation based perovskite solar cell we are fabricated, as well as the in inverted architecture we are using silver as an electrode. Now I enter my topic. After the role of Al2O3 nanoparticle in during the fabrication of the high efficiency perovskite solar cell, and we exhibit the here is so that the PTA layer, that is whole transporting layer, in inverted architecture we using PTA layer, that is whole transporting layer, the top of the ITO layer, and we insert Al2O3 nanoparticle between perovskite and the whole transporting layer. The advantage of is that using the Al2O3 nanoparticle, it improves the wettability between the perovskite layer and the whole transporting layer. And using this nanoparticle with smaller concentration, we try with a different concentration, but in smaller concentration, we have found that the charge carrier extraction from the perovskite layer to top electrode and the bottom electrode increases, and which help to increase the efficiency of the device. And our main motto to fabricate the silicon tandem devices, and the few research group in India were working on the silicon tandem devices. Now we are fabricating, our aim to fabricate large area devices. The people are now recently fabricate on the small area basis, that is 0.09 centimeters square, usually reported, but we are fabricating 0.25 centimeters square and also 2 centimeters square, that is large area, which is nearly 8 times greater than the reported area. Here we found that the introduction of Al2O3 nanoparticle, the absorption spectra of our deposited perovskite film also increases. The absorption increases. It means it's absorb more light after using the Al2O3 nanoparticle introduction. But it does not change the band gap of the particular mixed halide perovskite film. Now, the effect of Al2 nanoparticle is clearly visible from the same images, that after introduction of Al2O3 nanoparticle between whole transporting layer and the perovskite layer, the grain size also increases. It means the lesser grain boundary and area extraction also increases. And also roughness also increases with the introduction of the Al2O3 nanoparticle. So a nanoparticle without passivation, and really we observe in our lab that the efficiency is small, and later I will show it, and it is very small. But after introduction, it is This miracle that efficiency will increase suddenly. Then now this is our lab fabricated device architecture. The small area devices 0.25 centimeters square, and this is also large area devices 2 centimeters square. As I already told, that increase the fabrication of the large area devices is very difficult because the uniformity of the transport layer also decreases because of the increase of trap density also increases in large area devices. That's why large area fabrication is very difficult. This is our light illuminated IV curve, and also we also characterize the dark current behavior and also the ideality factor because solar cell is a diode. So we characterize our solar cell. So we found that approximately 2 weight%, this small concentration of the Al2O3 increase the device efficiency, and maximum efficiency is 14%. In small area and large area, we have achieved approximately 9% efficiency, which is very difficult. As I already told the reason, and they found that after introduction of this nanoparticle, the diode behavior also increases, and ideality factor also decreases. It means the diode behavior also increases, both in case of small and as well as the large area devices. And this is the quantum external quantum efficiency spectra of the small area devices and also the large area, because this spectra is slightly changes here because uniformity due to decrease of the uniformity of the large area devices. Now the band gap also, in that case, we calculate the band gap of the quantum efficiency spectra, which I already saw from the UV spectra. Both are same. That's why the structural behavior does not change with the introduction of the L2D, but it enhances the carrier extraction from the respective transport layer. And the passivation, this passivation effect is clearly found from this graph. We also calculate the Arvak energy. Of that is Arvak energy also decreases after this passivation. And this is the stability, because stability issue of the perovskite solar cell is the very challenging things. But now after this passivation effect, we found that approximately 79% efficiency of the initial power conversion efficiency we able to achieve after 2000 hours in ambient storage of the devices. And it's increased the efficiency also, both small as well as the large area devices. And the reproducibility of the devices also increases after the using of Al2O3 nanoparticle. And this is the photovoltaic parameter, which is obtained from this optimized concentration of the devices. And the maximum efficiency, I told, it's 14.72% on the inverted architecture, that is NIPIN architecture, but we achieved 17% efficiency on the regular architecture, that is NIP architecture. With the statistical data is present here. And also this is also large area devices. For large area devices, we have achieved 9.31% efficiency. And yes, this is the also statistical analysis of this fabricated devices. And this is our lab fabricated devices. This is a small area gold electrode based devices. So we used gold as the top electrode, and this is single cell large area devices. And this is silver electrode based devices where we used silver as a off contact electrode, and this is because of cost effective electrode, both at small area and large area devices. And we used this type of film during the fabrication inside the inert atmosphere. That is glow box. We are using the inert atmosphere for deposition of the perovskite film, because perovskite is a very moisture sensitive, so it can be easily degraded in outside the ambient atmosphere. Now, this is our key work in our during my research work. We are able to fabricate 24% efficiency on silicon tandem devices. We are fabricating the inverted device architecture, and that's why our main motto to fabricate the device architecture with high efficiency silicon tandem devices. And we able to fabricate 24% efficiency on the silicon tandem disk system. There is various challenges faced during this fabrication because we used silicon on the textured surface, on the top of the textured surface. Deposition of the transport layer or uniform transport layer is very difficult because here is the clearly shown that this is the texture architecture here, and the top of the texture architecture, smooth surface deposition of ITO, even also the whole transporting layer and also the perovskite layer, and then electron transport layer is very difficult task. So the key challenges is faced during this fabrication is smooth perovskite uniformity of the perovskite layer. It's big challenges. Also the wideband, in case of wideband gap semiconductor, the deposition also very difficult. And also the recombination is a big problem in perovskites also, because if there is some pinhole inside this device or in the film, the top electrode will connect with the bottom electrode, then device will be short circuited. And approximately we have fabricated 3 to 400 devices. Then after that we are able to fabricate our large area silicon tandem devices. This is the highest efficient devices in our lab, and maximum area is 1 centimeter square. But we try to increase our fabricated device area because in practical application we have to increase we have used the large area devices. And here are semi-transparent device. We also working on the semi-transparent devices. This is our lab fabricated devices. This is a metal electrode deposition through the word marks, and this is perovskite deposition inside the glow box. And this is our solar simulator when we are testing our devices in 1 sun intensity of light. And this is also a inert atmosphere system. This is quantum efficiency system. And we also now working on the module fabrication, large area module fabrication. And initially we start with the 3 to 4% efficiency on copper electrode based machine because copper is cheaper compared to the gold. And this is our single cell large area devices which are fabricated in our lab. And this is our publication during the last 3 years. And this is all our publication. And we are thanks IIT Bhilai for providing the research opportunity. Also thank for the GST Nanomission provide the funding. And also I'd like to thank Dr. Tridiranjan Sahu, the convener of this basis, and also the wonderful opportunity for this presentation. And also I would like to thank my supervisor, Dr. Dhruv Pratap Singh, Dr. Nikhil Chandra, and from Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Bhilai, Dr. Rasim Vijay from PK College, Dr. P. Samant from PK College, also Mr. Tapos Das from PK College. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Navakumar, for timely closing your talk. Okay, so now the session is open for question. কিছু প্রশ্ন থাকলে কেউ করতে পারেন 5 মিনিট।
যে নবকুমার, তোমার সেলটার সাইজ যখন বাড়াচ্ছ উপরের পার্টটা, তখন তুমি এফিসিয়েন্সি একটু বেশি পাচ্ছ, তাই তো?
না, কম হয়ে যাচ্ছে বিকজ ডিউ টু নন ইউনিফর্মিটি।
প্লাস কষ্ট বেড়ে যাচ্ছে তো।
হ্যাঁ, কষ্ট বাড়বে, বাট যখন আমরা লার্জ এরিয়া করবো তখন স্পিন কোটিং এর সাহায্যে ইউনিফর্ম ফিল্ম বানানো খুব ডিফিকাল্ট।
তোমার ক্ষেত্রে তোমার এই কনক্লুশনে যত স্মল করতে পারবো ইউনিফর্মিটি বেটার হবে এবং
এফিসিয়েন্সি অলসো ইনক্রিজেস,
কারেন্ট ডেনসিটি বা এফিসিয়েন্সিটা বেটার হয়ে যাবে আর কস্টটাও কম হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
বাট উই আর ইউজিং লার্জ এরিয়া এট দিস মোমেন্ট।
Okay.
Ornopal raised a hand. Ornopal, do you have any question?
Hi. Yeah. I have just this. First of all, thank you very much, Navakumar, for your nice presentation. It's really interesting. And my question is just I'm a little curious about the thing is that I mean you did AFM, right? To know
Yeah.
the roughness. So the AFM, the scale. Can you tell me the scale you used? I mean, what micrometer or nanometer scale? So what is the nanometer? I mean, the size of your scanning area?
5x5.
Micrometer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. So I just
Because we are taking the different area, different part of this cell, and then take the average.
Oh, nice. So I'm a little curious. Another thing is that you say your efficiency is near about 24% or something.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
It's silicon tandem.
Oh, okay. So as I don't know, I'm not an expert in this field, so I just curious because last few days I read some papers that saying that solar cell, perovskite or this kind of solar cells can achieve near about 48%, 50%.
No, 30. Most maximum efficiency is 3% in cost AI. Cost. Yes. Now this is unpublished work, but we are, that's why I cannot disclose all these things. But we recently fabricate these devices.
Oh, nice. Then nice.
Because
Thank you.
our group work very professionally, but I've not fabricated. I start from the zero efficiency and we fabricated 3,000 to 4,000 devices. Especially during the COVID time, I have a lot of devices. Now we belongs this situation, this stage.
I mean, what is the rate of the devices? Suppose you make 100 devices, so how many of them can achieve this kind of efficiency, right? You are saying this is very
we are approximately able to just recently 5 devices in approximately 24% continuously with better reproducibility.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
So
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other question from any other audience? Okay, so we do not have any other question. Let's thank speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Navakur for his enlightening talk. Okay. So next, I would request Arnopal, are you ready to present your topic now? Because in your turn, you were absent.
I'm really sorry for that. Actually, I was outside. So I'm ready now. I'm ready.
You are ready now?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
okay,
really sorry for my lateness. Yeah.
Okay, no, it happens. Okay, so next I invite. So are you postdoc or research scholar?
No. I'm a PhD candidate right now, going to graduate.
Okay, so PhD candidate, so Mr. Arnopal from National Tsinghua University, Taiwan, and he will talk about the contact electrification capability of amino acid. Okay.
Yeah. So my screen is
yes, it is visible, and your sound is perfectly good. So you have 15 minutes, and then 5 minutes for question answer session.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. So okay, good morning everyone. I'm Arnav from National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. So today's my topic is identification of biomolecules and materials by triboelectric nanogenerators. So first of all, the outlines of my talk. So first I will introduce my work, then I will go for the proposed concept, then I will talk about the construction of triboelectric series and the chirality detection of amino acids using the triboelectric nanogenerators. And then I will talk about the thermosensitive smart robotic self-powered sensor for material identification. And at last, I will go for the conclusion. So at first, what is the triboelectric nanogenerator, or what is the triboelectrification? So triboelectric effect or the contact electrification is a commonplace phenomena we can see everyday's life. When we comb our hair or something like that, we can feel the static electricity when it's winter mainly. So here I saw a mechanism in the some kind of video. You can see how when two material encounters the frictional contact between each other, they can be contact electrified, and they can induce the charge in the electrodes, and that electrodes can pass through the charge on the outer circuit. Now, how we can choose this kind of materials? So there are triboelectric series. The output or the efficiency of the triboelectric output depends on the relative position of those materials in the triboelectric series. So if they are very far from each other, like very positive and very negative, then the output will be very high, and when they are very close, the output will be low. So now, what is the importance of contact electrification of amino acids and this kind of natural materials in the natural process and biological functions? So first of all, when the immune cells engulf the pathogens, the bumblebee pollinates the flowers, and the virus contaminates the host cells. In every kind of cases, we can see the triboelectric effect. And most importantly, these kind of materials are made of biomolecules, biomaterials, and their building blocks are amino acids. So it is very important to know why the triboelectrification of amino acid is so important. So next, the application of human skin-based ENGs, because my work is focused on the human skin at first part. So here we can see there are already some published papers which shows that human skin can be useful for the energy harvesting or different kind of sensings. Now the things are that until now we know human skin is very positive triboelectric material, and it has a wide range of use for the cell power sensing and the energy harvesting purpose. But the question is that, but why the human skin become highly positive during the contact electrification process? So until now, there is no proper explanation or no proper work. So my work is about that. So here we know that the human skin, the human skin is very highly positive during the contact electrification process, and the triboelectrification is a surface phenomena. That is it depends on the outer layer of your skin or any material. The outer layer is the most important layer for the triboelectrification. So here we take the stratum corneum of human skin, and the stratum corneum has some particular amino acids in the copious amount. That is some particular amino acid. There are 20 or 21 naturally existing amino acids, but some of them are very dominating amount in the human skin on the outer layer. So first what I did is that first I used the KPFM, that is Kelvin probe microscopy, to know the work function on the surface potentials of some amino acids. And here in this figure, I am showing that the amino acids which have charged and polar uncharged side chains, and I use the KPFM to know their surface potential as well as the work function. And then we can see that their work function, and here, this one showing that the work function, I also did the computational by using the DFT theory. So here we can see different amino acids has different work functions. Then I try to know why their work functions are so different. So here what I did, I used the XPS, and from the XPS we can know that which material has what kind of side chains or what kind of atomic percentage. So here we can see the amino acids which has less work function, they have high content of N/O ratio. So what is N/O ratio? N is the nitrogen, O is the oxygen. So N, sometimes the N-based side chains are very positive because they can lose electron and become positive during the contact electrification process. And oxygen comes from the acidic group. Acidic groups are really negative, and they are not easy to lose their electron. They are willing to take electrons, so they want to be more negative. So here from this atomic ratio, we can say why some of the amino acids are positive and their work function are less, and some of them are negative and their work function are high. And then there are some amino acids which have special case of side chains or like hydrophobic side chains. So here you can see that I did the KPFM. This is the KPFM data, and this is the work function data I simulate by using the DFT density function theorem. And here you can see I compare them, and you can see the experimental data and the experimental and the computational data are very close to each other. And then again I do the XPS to know why they are different, but not like previous case. This case is because of the electron donating ability of the side chains. Here you can see that when the side chains has less electron donating ability, they are more negative, and when they can donate more electrons, they are more positive. Electron donate means they are becoming positive. So based on this work function and XPS, then after that I use a standard material, that is PTFE. So PTFE is very, very negative in the triple active series. So I took PTFE as a standard material. Then I use the amino acid layers and different amino acids I used here on the counter layer, and I do the contact electrification. Herein you can see the output values for contact electrification, and then I calculate the transfer charge capability, like when they are transferring the charge, when different amino acids come into the contact with the PTFE layer. And herein you can see that when the work function is increasing, the output of the transfer charge is decreasing. So when the work function is less, that is they are more positive, and when the work function is high, they are more negative. So here you can see that some of them are really positive and some of them are negative. So now what I did is that based on this transfer charge density and based on this work function values, I make this triple electric series, and then we saw that the outer layer of the skin has the amino acids like L-arginine, L-proline, L-alanine, and glycine and serine. These all are kind of positive, and as a result, the human skin become positive during the contact electrification process. Now this is my hypothesis. So now I need to prove my hypothesis, right? So then I took some of the proteins, and they have different kind of amino acids concentrations, and then I can see that when the amino acids which are positive, they are present in silk fibrin. So silk fibrin is more positive. Then like the bovine blood gamma globulin, this one has more negative amino acids, so it is more negative. So this is one part of my work. Then I try to know that the skin aging process. So we know that when we become old, our skin become wrinkled and kind of not beautiful like as young. So what is the reason? The reason is the racemization process. So the racemization process mainly involved with the L-aspartic acid. So when we are young, in our skin, the L-aspartic acid is very highly dominating. But when we are aging, the racemization, that is the rotational process. So from the L to the L amino acids will become D amino acids. So as a result, our skin become inert and not so glossy like before. So it's very, very important in our nature to know which one is L form and which one is D form of the molecules. And it is very important for the drug when we make some drugs, some of them are L form and some of them are D form. So some of the drugs are very poisonous because of their forms. Some drug, if they are D form, they are very poisonous. Some drug, if they are L form, they are very good for our health. So it's very important for our industry and this kind of things to detect the L and D form or the homochirality of these molecules. So here I propose a scheme that using their work function and the contact electrification process, I can detect different molecules L and D forms. So this is one project, and then I came to my second project, that is the triboelectric sensor for the material sensing. So why material sensing is so important right now? So bionic processes and metaverse, visual society, and the heavy industry, robotic manipulation, and the IoT and big data training. In all these cases, the most important thing is the sensor, and we need those kind of sensors which can detect and which can identify different kind of materials and temperatures and something like that. So according to some papers, that we need 40 million of sensors just for the IoT kind of things within next 5 years. So also we have some human boundaries, like in some places in the world we cannot reach, and outer space we cannot reach. And sometimes if we go to sense or detect some materials in very dirty places, that can harm the human lives. So what is the solution? The solution is the thermosensitive robotic sensor based on triboelectrification. So this is my TOC. And what is the advantage of this kind of sensors? Because they are mounted on robots. So robots can go outer space on any place, and there is no harm of life. And they can sense materials and temperatures and different molecules that are harmful or not harmful. We don't know. So we need to know them. So herein I use the micropyramidal structure. Like I build this kind of micropyramidal structure by molding process on my device to enhance its sensitivity. Here in the data shows that when I introduce the micropyramidal structure in my device, the hydrophobicity increased and the output also increased. That means the sensitivity of that sensor increased. Then first, to understand the triboelectrification at different temperature, I take two particular material. One is PTFE, that is standard material. Aluminum is also a standard material. Where PTFE is negative, aluminum is positive. So here we heat the aluminum layer and do the contact electrification. And this is my mechanism. I propose that, okay, when the temperature is increasing, there is a difference between their work function, because I already did the KPFM data, that is the work function. And herein you can see when the Fermi level is moving up, it can transfer more electrons. That means the output will increase. So here we can see the output increment due to the temperature increase. Then what I did, then I need to characterize my device, the material mechanical characterization, or you can say the Raynaud characterization of these devices. So I use the NaCl solution as the you can say like how to say that, like electrode or something like that, because NaCl is very, I mean, my device is very stretchable and foldable. Here you can see I fold, twist, stretch, did many kind of ergonomic things, but as my device is made of EcoFlex, and the electrode is kind of liquid electrode, so it can show this kind of stretching, twisting, this kind of things. And you can see they are very stable at different kind of pressure, temperature, and stretching, folding. And even I use them continuously for 7 days, they can give me very stable output. So here I can say at different stress, strain, and pressure, my devices are very stable and they can give very good output and good sensing data. And then this is the mechanism of sensing. When your different material come into the contact with the outer layer of my device, they induce some charges due to their position in the triboelectric series. Different material will give different outputs. And this is the mechanism I made. So this is the electron transfer mechanism. When two material come into the contact, due to their different work function values, the electron cloud will exchange electrons in different way depending on their position in the triboelectric series. So herein we can see we also try different materials, and we see different materials will give different output. And with the temperature, we also can see that
Arnav, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I try to finish it. Okay, so the outputs here you can see then after that I explain why their output is different by using the KPFM and XPS values. Here the atomic percentage. Again, I explain some atoms will be make the material more negative, and some of them will make positive. And then I use the machine learning model to enhance the efficiency of my robot and my sensor. And here you can see even some machine learning model can reach 100% of efficiency at different temperatures. And I sense metals, biomaterials, and polymers very efficiently. So now my conclusions is that in my whole work, I can explain the surface potential, work function, atomic percent on different materials and biomaterials and their contact electrification process, and I explain them via the XPS characterization and their atomic percentage, and quantifying, augmenting different materials triboelectric series that can help other people to choose their material during their device sensing, device fabrication or something like that. And I also can use my devices and my machine to save the human life and help the human society. And another important thing is that most important work I think in my thesis will be like the chiral molecule detection, because it's very important. Like we frequently use in India the two medicine like pan L and pan D for the acidic reflux. In that case, I really think that L and D form plays the most important role. So it's very important to detect the chiral molecules. So next, I will like to thank two of my professors, Professor Yulin Wang from NTHU, National Tsinghua University, and Professor Jonghong Lin from National Taiwan University. And this is my group, my colleagues, my friends, something like that. And thank you very much for your attention. And this is some of my publications. This is not important actually. Any questions and comments are always welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for Arnav for nicely presenting his work. So now the audience, if you have any questions to Arnav. Any questions from the audience? Okay.
I think I should thank all of you, and
Okay.
I should thank Dr. Kriti Ranjan Sahu and my teachers, my professors, Dr. Pradeep Panchadhyay and Dr. Amit Kumar De, for their blessings throughout the time. And I'm really thankful for all of you for listening my talk. And if you really have some questions and comments, I think Dr. Kriti sir, or in this basis, I have my email, so you can contact me anytime. Thank you very much for everyone for listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arnav, again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For his nice talk. So next we have next talk by Mr. Rashmi. Let me check. Yes. Sorry, Miss Rashmi Sharma. Miss Rashmi Sharma, are you present here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Miss Rashmi Sharma, now she will present about defect-induced ferromagnetism in MgO nanoparticles studied by optical and positon annihilation spectroscopy. Okay. Rashmi, please start.
Screen.
Yes.
Good afternoon,
yes,
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. I am Rasmi Sharma from Narbadur Bhandari Government College, Tadung, Gangtok. So today I'll be presenting my talk or review of the paper defect-induced ferromagnetism in magnesium oxide nanoparticles studied by optical and positron annihilation spectroscopy. So here is the plan of my talk. So firstly, I will introduce you to my topic. Then we will discuss how magnesium nanoparticles...
Hello, Resmi.
Yes, sir.
Please click the hide button. In the
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Continue.
So we will discuss how magnesium oxide nanoparticles is synthesized. And then we discuss about the X-ray diffraction pattern, ferromagnetism in magnesium oxide nanoparticles, then optical spectroscopy, positron annihilation spectroscopy, and then we will move on to the conclusion. So here is the introductory part. So basically, there has been a lot of interest in the study of magnetic behavior of nanoparticles of the otherwise non-magnetic materials because they exhibit ferromagnetism at room temperature. So, following these facts, here in this paper, the authors have proved that nanoparticles of magnesium oxide also exhibit room temperature ferromagnetism. So, in order to prove this, they have employed a technique called
Rashmi. Rashmi, hello. So I think you have some problem in your microphone. Please reinsert it again and talk it little slowly because you have echo problem while you are talking.
Okay, sir. I'll fix it. Sorry. Sir, is it clear now?
It is now very clear.
Am I audible?
You are audible. Make it full screen.
Okay, sir.
Make your presentation full screen.
So here I was. So in order to prove the existence of ferromagnetic property in magnesium oxide nanoparticles, positron annihilation spectroscopy was used. So this positron annihilation spectroscopy has been used to explore the nature of effects present in the magnesium oxide particles and to estimate the defect concentrations. So, using this positron annihilation spectroscopy, what they found was that the magnesium vacancy concentration are present at the 3.4 into 10^16 per centimeter cube in the nanocrystalline magnesium oxide, and this value with this 3.4 into 10^16 per centimeter, this value is twice the value that obtained for bulk sample. So, it is here this in optical spectroscopy also there is a decrease in the intensity of bioluminescence and the saturation magnetic moment. This correlates with the vacancy concentration of the magnesium oxide nanoparticles. So after all this positron annihilation spectroscopy and optical spectroscopy, what they found was that the magnetic moment, the origin of magnetic moment and the ferromagnetism in magnesium oxide nanoparticles is caused due to the magnesium related vacancies present at the surface of the particles. So here, now we will discuss how magnesium oxide nanoparticles is synthesized. This method is called a sol-gel method. Sol-gel method. So, in this method, 0.05 mole of magnesium acetate tetrahydrate and 0.03 millimole of polyvinyl pyrrolidine, which is used as a capping agent, and ethylene glycol were mixed. So, this mixture was refluxed at 200 degrees Celsius with constant stirring for 2 hours to get a white flocculate. So this flocculate was cooled at room temperature, and then it is centrifuged at 6,000 rpm. And then this flocculate, after centrifuging it at 6,000 rpm, it is washed with distilled water and ethanol in order to remove the remaining PVP, polyvinyl pyrrolidine and ethylene glycol. So the final drying of the flocculate was done at 80 degrees Celsius to get a magnesium oxide precursor of magnesium oxide. So after we get the magnesium oxide precursor, it is calcined at 650, 750 and 850 degrees Celsius respectively for 2 hours in oxygen atmosphere to get magnesium oxide nanoparticles of different sizes. So using this sol gel method, we can get the nanoparticles of different sizes. So here, this is the X-ray diffraction pattern found for different sizes. So basically, what does X-ray diffraction pattern describes is that from X-ray diffraction pattern we can get the size. We can determine the size of the particles. So to get this X-ray diffraction pattern, a copper K alpha radiation was used, and the wavelength of the radiation was 1.5406 angstrom. Here, wavelength is this much. So, and this X-ray diffraction pattern is obtained by using an instrument called Rigaku 99 diffractometer. So basically, this pattern, X-ray diffraction pattern, we use this to get find the size of the particles. So in order to get the size of the particles, we use the Scherer formula, which is D is equal to K lambda by beta cos theta, where D is the size of the particle, K is the Boltzmann constant, lambda is the wavelength of radiation used, and beta is the full width. Full width of this peak, this graph, full width at half maxima, and theta is the diffracting angle. So using this Scherer formula, we get different sized nanoparticles for different temperatures. For example, for particles calcined at 650 degrees Celsius, we get the size to be of 22 nanometer. For the particle calcined at 850 degrees Celsius, we get the size to be 28 nanometer. And for 950 degrees Celsius, we get the size as 32 nanometer. And for particles calcined at 1450 degrees Celsius, we get the particle as a bulk. We do not get a nanoparticle, but we get a bulk sample. So these results are in agreement with FESEM images, field emission scanning electron microscopy images. So here is the field FESEM image of magnesium oxide, where image A represents the 22 nanometer magnesium oxide, B represents the 28 nanometer magnesium oxide, C represents the 32 nanometer magnesium oxide, and D represents the bulk magnesium oxide. So this particle size and morphology were analyzed by FESEM using NOVA NanoSim 600. So now we move on to the ferromagnetism in magnesium oxide nanoparticles. This is the magnetization measurement. So this magnetization measurement was done by using vibrating sample magnetometer. So for a ferromagnetic material, the ferromagnetic hysteresis is a characteristic property. It is a characteristic property of a ferromagnetic material. So from this plot, in this plot, these are the ferromagnetic hysteresis curves for nanoparticles of different sizes and for a bulk material. This A represents a 22 nanometer magnesium oxide nanoparticle, B represents the 28 nanometer nanoparticle of magnesium oxide, C represents the 32 nanometer magnesium oxide nanoparticle, and D is for the bulk magnesium oxide sample. So from this graph, it is clearly visible that clearly visible that ferromagnet, there is a it shows a 22 nanometer particle shows a sharp ferromagnetic hysteresis curve. And then when the size is increasing, we can see that ferromagnetic hysteresis property, this curve is we do not get this curve. So when we reach the size of the bulk sample, the ferromagnetic hysteresis is completely lost. So what is the reason for this? It is that ferromagnetism is caused due to the defect present at the surface of the particles. So when the size increases, the defect concentrations decreases because of the decrease in surface to volume ratio. So when the size increases, defect concentration decreases, so it results in the decrease in the ferromagnetic property. So it is clearly visible that when the size is increasing, ferromagnetic property is decreasing, and this bulk material shows diamagnetic behavior because of the low vacancy concentration at its surface. So as I explained, it is due to the surface to volume. It is because surface to volume ratio decreases as the particle size increases. So now we move on to the optical spectroscopy. So optical properties of nanomaterials provide information about the surface states. So these nanocrystals of magnesium oxide show a broad photoluminescence spectrum in the blue region. I will come to the graph after this. There is a broad photoluminescence spectrum in the blue region. It is due to the defects present at the surface, but the bulk magnesium oxide does not show such luminescence spectrum. So photoluminescence spectra were recorded using Perkin-Elmer LS55 luminescence spectrometer. This was the instrument used for getting the optical spectroscopy results. So this is the photoluminescence spectra for different size nanomaterials and for bulk. So A is for the smallest size nanoparticle, which is 22 nanometer, B is for 28 nanometer, C is for 32 nanometer, and D is for bulk. So here in this curve, around 370 nanometer, here around 370 nanometer, these particles show a broad peak. Here we can see there is a broad peak around 370 nanometer. So as the particle size is increasing, the intensity of the peak is decreasing. Here intensity decreases as the particle size increases, because as I explained earlier, it is due to defects present at the surface of the particles. As the size increases, the defect concentration decreases, and due to decrease in surface to volume ratio. So this suggests that concentration of surface defect decreases with increasing particle size. So the intensity of blue luminescence also decreases with increasing particle size. So now the main technique which is employed was positron annihilation spectroscopy. So in the process of annihilation between electron and a positron, the positron combines with the electron to form positronium, which is a quasi-atom. So electron and positron, basically they combine. When they combine to form a positron, it results in the production of two gamma radiations, each of energy 500 and kilo electron volt. So here the source of positron which was used was a 10 microcurie 22 NaCl source. This source emits positron. So when the positron is born, then at that time also it ejects a gamma radiation. So it ejects a gamma radiation, and this positron, when it interacts with a sample, it gets thermalized. And that thermalized positron annihilates with electron of that sample to produce two gamma radiations of each of energy 511 kilo electron volt. So this after that, when we get the two gamma radiations of 511 kilo electron volt, then it is then the positron it is referred to as a death of the positronium. So when the positron is born, then also it emits gamma radiation. When it dies, then it also emits gamma radiation. So this time difference between the birth and death of the positron is called the lifetime. So The lifetime of positron annihilation was measured by fast low coincidence assembly, and this measured positron annihilation lifetime was analyzed by computer program PATFIT88. So there are there are three lifetime components used: tau 1, tau 2, and tau 3. These three lifetime components are used here. So here in this table, we can see that this tau 1, tau 1 is the tau 1, tau 2, tau 3 are the lifetime of the positron, and I1, I2, and I3 are their corresponding intensities. So this longer lifetime, as we can see, this tau 3 is longer than as compared to others. So this longer lifetime, it corresponds to the formation of orthopositronium and its subsequent decay as parapositronium by peak of annihilation process. It is for the longer lifetime tau 3. For a shorter lifetime, tau 1 is a shorter lifetime, so it is because of the free annihilation of positron. And this intermediate lifetime is because intermediate lifetime tau 2 is because of the annihilation of positron in the magnesium vacancy type defect. So
Rashmi, you have 2 minutes left.
yes, sir.
You have already completed your 15 minutes time. So please conclude within 2 minutes.
Okay, sir, I am about to complete. I2 is the measure of the defect concentration. So here we can see that the defect concentration in bulk material is concentration in bulk material is smaller as compared to the nano material. So from this result, it is clearly visible that the defect concentration decreases with increasing particle size. So this is a CDBR spectrum. So it shows this peak shows the annihilation of positron with the electron of oxygen. So it is also this CDBR is also used to explain the vacancy concentration in nanocrystalline magnesium oxide nanoparticles. So since I found this topic quite complicated, so I haven't studied much about this, but this is also used to explain the nature of defects present on the surface of the particles. So here it is. Here I come to the conclusion of my topic. So in this talk, we have studied the nature of concentration of defects using photoluminescence and positron annihilation spectroscopy in ferromagnetism, ferromagnetic magnesium oxide nanoparticles. So here, using the photoluminescence spectra, what we found is that as the size of the particle increases, the intensity of luminescence decreases. So positron annihilation spectroscopy revealed the presence of magnesium vacancy. So using positron annihilation spectroscopy, what we found is that magnesium vacancy concentrations magnesium vacancy concentration decreases with increasing particle size. This is all about my presentation. So here are the references I have used. So at last but not the least, I would like to extend my heartiest gratitude to Bengal Academic Society for Interactive Sciences for providing this platform. I would also like to extend my gratitude to my guide, Dr. Homnath Luitel, for all the selfless help he offered. And lastly, to all the participants and my dear friends for your kind patience. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rashmi, for this nice presentation. So now the session is open for questions. If anyone do not have any question, then we can move forward to the last talk of this session. Abhishek Sharma, are you here? Abhishek Sharma, Mr. Abhishek Sharma, speaker of.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Okay, okay. So Mr. Abhishek Sharma will present about complementarity of Raman and infrared spectroscopy for structural characterization of plant
Yes, sir.
reticular waxes. Okay, anyway. So please present your work.
Sure, sir. Sir, I am setting up for. I need 2 minutes to set up.
Okay, just set it up.
Sure, sir. Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible. Yes.
So, hello and good afternoon, everyone present out here. I am Abhishek Sharma.
So Abhishek, please
Yes,
put your title screen. Now you are on slide number 2. Probably your
Yes.
title screen is slide number 1. Okay.
Sorry, sir, I
Start
didn't
from-
get you.
Okay, so you are at slide number 2. So if you want to show your affiliation, other things, then please go to slide number 1.
Okay, sir.
And make it full screen mode. Make it full screen mode.
Yes, sir.
At first, cross the backup this document in yellow color. Cross side.
Hello.
Yes, Abhishek, yes. So now it is okay. So you are your title page. Okay, so now make it full screen.
Sure, sure.
Slideshow full screen.
Okay. It's not. I'm trying, but it's not.
Abhishek, at first cross the backup this document
Yes, sir.
in yellow color in the right side cross. Schedule backup later.
Sorry, sir.
In your slide in the upper side backup these documents in the yellow color showing.
Yes, sir.
And right side is cross this side. Then the slide movement will be easy.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
What sir is saying is there is a cross mark in the yellow color line. Can you see? You just cross that on the right side. Not that. Come to right. Extreme right. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now do the full screen.
Full screen tab is downwards. Okay, where you
Down.
have
Do you see?
Okay. So, excuse
Down.
me, sir.
Yeah. Below there. Below.
Down near the negative sign.
Oh, okay. So is it visible now?
Near the negative sign. Yes, yes. Press this. Press here.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Now go
Yes.
to slide number 1. Then please go to slide number 1 again. You are at slide number 2. Okay. So, is there any difficulty that you cannot
Sir,
change slide from your
can
side?
I? Yes, sir. Sir, can I set it up and join in 1 minute?
Okay, let's do it again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
ঠিক আছে।
কৃতিকা
হ্যাঁ
কন্টিনিউ করা দেওয়া উচিত না, মানে ও
হ্যাঁ
করতে পারছে না। ঠিক আছে, যেটা আছে সেটা করো।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
করতে পারছে না, একটু নার্ভাস হয়ে গেছে। এমএসসি টেস্ট বাচ্চা তো।
নার্ভাস কোথায় গেল, বেরিয়ে গেল না? অভিষেক কোথায় গেল?
নাও সেট আপ হচ্ছে, আরেকবার চেষ্টা করুন।
এগুলো
নাহলে ও পরে স্লাইড গুলো চেঞ্জ করতে
হ্যাঁ
পারবে
না,
না।
ওগুলো তো শেখা
একই জায়গায় থাকতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ। Okay, Abhishek, your slide 1 is visible. So now just you change your slide 2, 3. Is it happening? Can you change your slide? Just check. Abhishek, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Can you change your
Okay.
slide?
So good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm visible and audible. Yes, sir. I can change.
Okay, just okay. Start.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abhishek Sharma of Narbada Bandari Degree College, Gantok, and I am here to present a review on my topic entitled Complementarity of Raman and IR Spectroscopy for Structural Characterization of Plant Reticular Vashes. So, this journal is published in ACS Omega, and I have prepared this presentation under the guidance of my guide, Dr. Homnath Luitel. And here, as you can see, this is my plan of talk. I will deal with the introduction, the basics of Raman and IR spectroscopy, and we will deal with the basics of the plant we use, that is sorghum bicolor. We also call it great millet, or we also call it kodo in our local language. And we will see how the deduction of the experiment, and then we will move on to the conclusion. Sir, is my plan of talk visible? Hello?
No, you are still at slide number 1.
Okay, so can I change
Now
it
it
from
is
here?
yes.
Okay, thank you,
Now
sir.
it is visible. Now it is visible. Yeah. Continue.
Okay. So due to some technical problem, I'm not able to share my screen. I'm not able to slide through this, so I will just go like this. if it's okay, then first I'll deal with the introduction. So in this experiment, what the scientists did was uh, they obtained the results of Raman and IR and how they respond to the functional group and their vibrations. They also discovered how the wax obtained from different plant parts of the plant so the vibration, and they also verified different compounds present in the sorghum wax. Okay, so first I will deal with what is Raman and what it does. Okay, so Raman spectroscopy, generally we use Raman spectroscopy to detect phase, chemical structure, molecular interaction, crystallinity of any solid or polymorphy. Likewise, we use infrared spectroscopy to identify and verify known or unknown sample, new sample, or to characterize new materials. Or we also use IR spectroscopy to find functional group, detect functional group in solid, liquid, or in gaseous form. So this is the plant we use, sorghum bicolor. We also call this great millet or kodo in India, Nepali. In our local language, we call it kodo. So the origin of this plant is from Africa, and it belongs from the kingdom Plantae. Now, why it is used? Why this sorghum bicolor is used? Sorghum bicolor is used because it is easy. It can be easily harvested. It has long aliphatic chains, and it is accessible to genetic modifications. So, as we can see in this picture, that why we use this plant, because there are wax accumulated at different parts of this plant. Thus, the scientists observed vibration at different parts of wax, different compounds present in the wax at different parts of the plant. So uh, the result and discussions observed from this experiment are as follows. First, they did structural characterization of intact sorghum wax, and they extracted the wax through mechanical techniques, and they did the Raman and Iyer structural characterization. Then they evaluated the wax stratification, and they used the AFM-IR spectroscopy for further detection of composition present. So first we see here Raman-based structural characterization of intact sorghum wax. Here we can see that the spectroscopy was only possible to sorghum stem where substantial amount of wax was present. In this experiment, the scientists, the researchers used Rigaku spectrometer because Rigaku spectrometer allowed much better sensing for intact waxes. And they observed that Raman spectra exhibited peaks only for carbon-carbon bond vibrations. Here, in this graph, we can see that only carbon-carbon bond vibrations are shown. These peaks correspond to carbon-carbon bond vibration. So moving on to the next, Raman and Iyer structural characterization of extracted wax. So here we can see that from this diagram, Raman spectra of wax extracts had vibrational band at 1061, 1117, 1130, 1292, 1418, and 1438. These peaks are previously observed in intact wax, and these peaks can also be observed in the extracted wax. So there are some similarities, but the peak at 1170, which was previously observed in Raman spectrum of intact waxes, shifted to 1156, which showed that there are some difference in when the wax is intact or when the wax is extracted. So the relative intensities of 1160, 1117, 11 and 1130 centimeter inverse peaks remain nearly constant for remains nearly constant at CS2 vibration. So here we can see this graph is for the stem part. This part is for the stem part. This is for the skin of the plant, sorghum bicolor. This graph is for these vibrations are observed from the nodes, and the first number D vibrations are observed from the leaves. So what they deduced is the vibrational band at 1170 shifted to 1156, and intensities of CC bond remain nearly constant. Now they did the FTIR analysis, Fourier transform, infrared analysis, and they found out that IR spectra of waxes featured many more peaks than Raman spectra. Okay, so they found out that IR spectroscopy is far better than Raman spectroscopy in this case, and two bands, two infrared bands at 720 and 730 centimeter inverse. These bands show that there is crystallinity in the sample. Okay. Uh, okay. So in IR spectra, except for the leaves, they found a set of five relatively distinct peaks, and the band at 1093 centimeter inverse that correspond to substituted benzene vibrations. So they found out that there are some aromatic compounds present in the wax. Okay, then the two peaks at 1696 centimeter inverse and 1170 centimeter, as we can see from the graph, it showed that these peaks correspond to the ketonic stretch of carbonyls, which are absent in the Raman spectrum. Okay, now moving on to my next topic, that is evaluation of wax esterification. Here, what they found out that in this experiment, what they found out that they found there are some they observed carbonyl bands in all wax extracts to be centered around 1710. What this suggests? That there are ketonic group, aldehyde group, and carboxylic acid present in the wax. Okay, so they also detected. We also found that IR spectroscopy allows the detection of carbonyl vibration in the plant waxes and also the structural moiety. And they also found out that the wax ester load in the wax of sorghum bicolor was approximately 81% through the chromatography technique. Now, probing wax composition with AFM IR spectroscopy. Here we used AFM IR spectroscopy, that is also called atomic force microscopy, infrared spectroscopy. So here we can see from this graph that Here, they detected the presence of carbohydrates. Some of the peaks here are correspond to the carbohydratic group, and here we can here in this graph here we can see that from 1700 to 1750 there are no peaks shown. Hence, it proves that the aliphatic esters are unlikely to be detectable. The scientists also found that there are presence of aldehydes, aromatic and unsaturated esters, and carboxylic acids. So they found the carbonyl vibration in narrow peak, which suggested the presence of functional groups such as aldehyde, aromatic, unsaturated esters, and carboxylic groups. So we can see that AFM-IR can not only be used for detection and identification of esters in wax, but also for the evaluation of their distribution across the polymer surface. Okay, so my topic is short. So what we have discussed in this uh, experiment, that there we used IR and RS, and we saw the complementarity of these techniques to characterize the epicuticular plant wax. And we also found out that the spectra of IR and RS have striking differences in the peak composition. We saw that IR showed much more peaks and responded well with many of the compounds present in the wax, and then Raman and IR are comparable for smaller molecules. As the molecules become more and more larger or bigger, the complementarity become more complex. Okay, so the IR was also able to detect ketonic vibration associated with esters, but whereas RS was much more sensitive to CH vibrations. Uh, Now, after concluding, I would like to thank BASIS, Bengal Academic Society for Interactive Sciences, for providing me this platform. I will also like to extend my gratitude to my guide, Dr. Homnath Luitel, and I would like to thank all the participants and listeners and the professor out here for listening to my talk. So, thank you, dear listeners. And this is a small view from my hometown. I think this should refresh your mood. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Abhishek. A nice representation. And this is, I think, this is your first presentation.
Yes, sir.
In your life.
Thank you, sir.
Good appreciation. Any question from the
No,
audience?
sir. Actually, there are some technical problems.
I think no question, but no asking
I
from
think there are no questions.
Abhishek. Now, again, thanks, Abhishek. And now the lunch break. Again, we meet 2:20 p.m.
Yes, sir.
And this session was moderated by Dr. Abhijit Bera, Midnapur College, and the presentation will be presented Savitri Rai and Arjun Kumar Limbo. Okay, break now for lunch break.